Hey, hey, hey. It's so funny because this thing actually starts before I know that it started, so then I just be sitting here looking crazy. That's what I've come to realize when I go back and watch the replay. I'm like, yo, I look crazy. Okay, let me see. Okay. Um, hmm. Hope everybody is having an amazing, amazing evening. So, what I want to do, I actually meant to get this kind of set up. But so I want to go through the importance of this. Good evening, millionaire. Right. So we're going to start where it's like, good evening, millionaire, where we can kind of go through different things. Hold on, different things that can make you guys become wealthy much faster, right? A lot of times we are a lot closer to creating wealth than we actually really know, right? And so then what happens is we end up spinning our wheels basically, and we don't know what's going on, right? A lot of Americans are in debt. And so I kind of want to, or it's like a whole team of us, right? It's not just me by myself. It's a whole team of us. And we want to, oh my goodness, I did not hit live on the Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening, millionaire. Good evening, millionaire. So what I want to do, we're going to start having a series of kind of evening workshops where we can go through a few things, because the whole thing, everybody on the Facebook Live, welcome to the Facebook Live, welcome on the YouTube Live. And definitely welcome to the replay if you were not able to catch the live version of this thing. But the whole thing is that a lot of people, a lot of Americans are a lot closer to creating wealth than they actually think, right? We're a lot closer to creating wealth than we actually think, because a lot of us, unfortunately, we just don't know what to do. And we end up getting caught in the cycle of, like, you know, get good grades, go to work, go to work, go to work, come home, go to work, come home, right? We're constantly making somebody else rich and not focusing on our own finances, right? So what I want to do, first off, let me make sure that I can even see any comments, because I'm on my computer. I want to make sure that I can see any comments that anybody is saying to me, because a lot of times I never see those, right? And then I watch them after the fact. Okay, so I want to kind of go through, we're going to go through a different worksheet, right? I want you guys, if you did not get a chance to download the worksheet, I want you guys to go ahead, download the worksheet. You can actually click the link. You can click the link so that you guys can download the worksheet. And what I'm doing right now is I'm actually looking for the worksheet so that you guys can kind of follow along with me. Okay, I want you guys to be able to follow along with me. Okay, hold on. Technical difficulties. So what I wanted to go over, another thing, what I did want to say, the whole point of the worksheet before I get it pulled up is that 80%, actually 83% of Americans have their W-4s filled out incorrectly. So some of you guys may be like, okay, so what's the W-4? The W-4 is when you first get your job, and basically the human resources department, they'll give it to you and they'll say, okay, how many kids do you have? And then you'll say 2, right? Or 1 or none. And then they'll say, put down, they'll say, okay, put down 2, put down 1, or whatever. And it's not how many kids you have, it's actually the allowances. Okay, so you really want to go through the worksheet and fill it out properly. And that's one of the things that we definitely teach over here, and we really help people fill it out correctly so that you can get majority of your money. So what ends up happening is people have it filled out incorrectly, okay? And then when they so they have it filled out incorrectly, so what that means is that they end up overpaying taxes. They overpay taxes. So 83% of Americans are paying too much money in taxes. So when you overpay your taxes, think about how much money you're wasting. Think about what you can actually be doing with that money. Okay, think about if you weren't paying that money to the government, what could you be doing with that money? You know, most people is actually about $200 to $500 every single month that people are losing out on, that people are paying to the government instead of having the money go into their own pocket. Okay, and so what that means is that what happens is when you end up doing that, a lot of people, so in my post, a lot of people, I said, like, do you use the government as a forced retirement or a forced savings plan, right? And a lot of people, unfortunately, they do that. And what they end up doing is they will willingly overpay their taxes. So a lot of times people may even say, when you go to fill out that form, oh, well, how many kids do you have, right? And then they'll say, if you say you don't have any kids, then they will say something like, oh, well, just put 0 so you won't end up owing money at the end of the year. Okay, and that's like the worst thing that you want to do. You never want to put 0 down, because that means that you are actually paying the maximum amount in taxes every single year, right? You're paying the maximum amount. And so what happens is now the government, they actually take that money, and they invest it. They invest it all year, right? They don't invest it in your name. Do you think that the government is like, hey, this is the money that I took from AmmaTheCPA, so what we're going to do is any interest that we earn on this money, we're going to give it directly to Amma next year, right? We wish. Right? So think about it. They invest that money in the name of the government. So then what they do is they take that money, they invest it, they build like infrastructures, they pay the police department, they pay the fire department, they do all the stuff that the government has to do, right? In your city as well as nationwide. That's what they do. But you're losing out on that return on investment, like I said before. So think about what you can actually be doing with that money. Now, I've been making a lot of posts lately going over how a lot of Americans are in debt, right? Credit cards are at an all-time high. Retirement accounts are at an all-time low, okay? And I'm not trying to be funny or anything like that, but that's just the truth. You can go check out my previous post that I made about the retirement crisis here in this country. But at the same time, everybody is overpaying the government. Everybody is overpaying their taxes, right? Now, we just want to pay our fair share, okay? So I feel like if number 45 can pay no taxes and he's a billionaire, why are you paying taxes and you make like 30,000, 40,000, 100,000, whatever it is that you make? Think about it. If he is a billionaire and he's not paying any taxes, why are you paying so much in taxes? So another thing that I want to point out before I get to the worksheet, make sure that you guys click the link, right, and download that worksheet. It's a fillable form, so you guys can go along right with me. Also, if you do not, if you can't click the link, you can just go to wearemillionaireminded.com and go to the freebies page. Go to the freebies page on wearemillionaireminded.com, and this worksheet, this particular worksheet is called Adjustment versus Refund, right? It's the third worksheet on the site, so definitely go and check that out. And it's a lot of cool stuff on the website, so go check out wearemillionaireminded.com. Okay, but that was just a sidebar, but definitely go download the worksheet or pull it up. If you're watching this Facebook Live on your phone, but you do have access to your computer, maybe you want to go and pull up the worksheet on your computer so you can be filling it in, and it'll make that much more sense to you as we go through each line on the form. Okay, I know a lot of times numbers can be like, you know, to some people, right? Numbers are like crazy. So it'll really help if you can see it, and actually you can either write it down or definitely feel free to go along with me on the worksheet. And I'm going to be punching some numbers in here just shortly, but I want to give everybody time to pull up this worksheet. The other thing that I do want to point out when it comes to getting all your money up front from the government is the average household here in America actually has more than $16,000 of credit card debt. Credit card debt, more than $16,000. So what that just so you guys, I can put this in perspective. Okay, $16,000 in credit card debt is the average for Americans. The average household has $16,000, over $16,000 in credit card debt. What does that mean? That's not including mortgage. That's not including student loans. That's not including car notes, right? So think about all the debt that you may or may not have, and think about how the average American, the average household has in excess of $16,000. But then at the same time, then you overpay your taxes. When I say to somebody they need to start a home-based business and learn how to keep more of their money, then they say, oh, well, I just use it as a savings account, right? I let the government hold my money for me. So like I mentioned before, you're missing out on the return on investment, because you could be investing that money for yourself, or you can be using it to reduce this debt. Now, maybe you have $16,000, maybe you don't. But either way, if you have any debt, you can be getting that money back from the government, paying off your debt, or getting that money back from the government and investing for your future. Because like I mentioned before when we first started, not only do we have a retirement crisis here in this country, we also have a debt crisis here in this country. But then we turn around and everybody is overpaying their taxes. So one of the things that we definitely focus on at We Are Millionaire Minded is, how can you get your money back? How can you get your money back and use that money to income shift, right? We definitely focus on income shifting, taking your money back from taxes, paying off debt, paying off, and learning how to invest in your future. So without further ado, hope everybody got a chance to download the worksheet, but I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger so you guys can still see me a little bit. Let's move it. Let me see how it looks on this. Okay, you know what? I'm going to bring it down here because on the Facebook Live, I want you guys to be able to see. I know it has that thing that says like live, right? Live, and how many people are watching. Okay, so right here. Now, on this worksheet, now this is called the adjustment versus refund worksheet. So if you got a chance to download the worksheet, you definitely want to type refund in that space right there. Adjustment versus refund. Okay, adjustment versus refund. So let's say the average refund, the average tax not the average tax refund, the average amount that Americans overpay in their taxes is anywhere from $200 to $500, right? $200 to $500. So let's say you are overpaying the government an extra $500 per month. So we're going to go ahead and put $500 per month right into the worksheet. Okay, so if you multiply that by the 12 months in a year, you come up with $6,000. That's $6,000 that you are paying every year. Now, let's say this is the first example. What we want to do is say, let's say you are giving this money to the government. The government is earning any interest on it, and you are just focused on getting your refund at the end of the year. You're like, listen, government, whatever I overpaid, give it back to me. So sometimes people, this is just a sidebar, sometimes people may feel like they didn't pay any taxes because they got a refund. But yes, you did. Because if this is you and you pay the government $6,000 through the year, then maybe they give you $1,000 back. Maybe they give you $1,500, right? Because that's the amount that you overpaid. Or maybe they give you the whole $6,000. Some people get the whole $6,000. So let's say it's the entire $6,000, so $500 a month that you are overpaying your taxes, okay? So now that's $6,000 for the entire year, okay? Now we want to multiply that by 15 years, and we are not taking into consideration any interest, so no compound interest. You see that right here, no compound interest, because remember, the government is keeping this money. We are losing out on this return on investment. This is the point of the worksheet. So in 15 years, this is $90,000. Okay, now what I can say too is think about how long you have been working. Think about how much your refund has been every year. And then think about what you did with that refund. Because now if you actually did save that refund and you've been working for 15 years, then you should have about $90,000 saved up. But we know that in this country, most Americans don't have $1,000 saved up. Okay? So now, moving right along, let's say that you do adjust your W-4 like we always talk about. Okay? So now you have $500 a month because of the adjustment. Now we're going to say the same exact 15 years, except that in this 15 years, we are taking into consideration compounding interest. Now, Einstein said it's like one of the wonders of the world, right? Compounding interest. It basically means interest on top of interest, okay? Interest on top of interest. So after 15 years, $500, after 15 years, you end up with $173,000. Okay, $173,000 as opposed to $90,000 up here when you didn't put it in the investment account. You didn't earn any type of interest on it. This is when, so the first one is when you just gave it to the government and said, yes, give me my refund, Uncle Sam, right? The second one is saying, okay, so instead of me giving this money to Uncle Sam, I'm going to put this $500 a month in an investment account at 8% interest. 8% interest is so easy to get. You know, literally my mentor, we call him the $600 million man. Somebody asked him one day, like, you know, how do you get 8%? And he said, just throw a dart. Just throw a dart. It's so easy to get. Okay, so after 15 years, now you have $173,000, millionaires. Okay, $173,000. So let's say for this one, number 3, you do not adjust your W-4 and you get a refund, but we're going to do this at 30 years as opposed to 15. Okay, so we're going to take the same exact $500, right? We got the same exact $500 a month. Then we have, that comes out to be $6,000 for the year. The same example that we had before, $6,000 for the year. Multiply this by 30 years. And again, this is no compounding interest. So before I show you guys this number, again, think about where you are in life, how long you have been working. Some people have been working 15 years. Some people have been working 30 years. Some people have been working 40 years. Okay, so $500 a month, right, is $6,000 in the year that you're overpaying your taxes. You multiply that by 30 years at no compounding interest. Okay, no compounding interest, right? That comes out to be $180,000. Now, again, 69% of Americans do not have $1,000 saved up. for any type of emergency, right? They don't have $1,000 saved up. So ask yourself, where are you within this 30 years of you working? And when it comes to your retirement, when it comes to your savings, your emergency fund, your mini emergency fund, your full emergency fund, right? And so think about that. And it's not to make anybody feel bad or anything like that. We just want to raise awareness because we definitely can change this situation. Okay, we don't have to sit back and just say, oh, it's a debt crisis in America. Or sit back and say, oh, it's a credit crisis in America. A lot of people may sit back and say, oh, I'm going to pay this debt for the rest of my life. You don't have to. You do not have to pay this debt for the rest of your life because most of your money is going to the government. Right? And the government is investing it in their own name. They are not investing it in your name. So that's one of the things that we can definitely help with is like getting that money back and learning what to do with it. Okay, so now for our last one, let's say that you do adjust it, right? W-4 adjustment, we got the same $500 per month, and we're going to multiply this by 30 years. Okay, 30 years at 8% interest. Guess how much it is? Now, don't forget, before you start to guess, don't forget compounding interest. Okay, compounding interest is the eighth wonder of the world, which means interest on top of interest. So every time you earn interest, now that's added to the balance, and then you get interest on top of that interest as well. Okay, so $500 a month times 30 years, and this is a drum roll, $745,000. Millionaire, $745,000. So the purpose of this worksheet is just to show you guys what you can be doing with this extra money. And a lot of you may be saying like, okay, right, that looks great, but where can I get an extra $500 from? And where you can get it from is stop overpaying your taxes. So if you are interested in not overpaying your taxes, like definitely feel free to reach out to me. You have any questions with anything that I ever do, this worksheet as well as anything else, or definitely get back with the person that shared the video with you. They can answer any of your questions as well. But again, this is what will happen if you compare your adjustment versus your refund. So do you want to adjust your W-4 by having a home-based business? Now, because we do not want to adjust it and just say we have 15 allowances and then we change it back at the end of the year. We don't want to say, okay, we have we're exempt for 6 months and then we're not exempt, because that is what we call tax fraud. That is illegal. Okay, so you are not exempt. You don't have 10 allowances and then you switch it back to 2 and all of this other craziness. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about legally adjusting your W-4, getting more of your money back by having a business and learning how to take advantage of this tax code and learning how to make the best of your money. So if we have any questions or anything like that, then definitely feel free to reach out to me. You can inbox me right here on Facebook, or feel free to, if you reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, I'm always here to help. And I hope everybody has an amazing, amazing evening. And I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. But definitely feel free to reach out to me. Any questions that you guys may have about this worksheet or anything else that that's on my page. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good evening. Hope this was helpful.